Welcome to Washington East to West Sports. This is episode 74. I am Matt Beatty, joined alongside, as usual, by Sean Beatty and Kevin Ardall, and we have special guest, recurring guest, JT the Ginger. Once again, if you want to get involved in the show, go ahead and tweet us. I'm at Beatty_Matt. Sean's at Sean_Beatty. Kev's at Kev's Believes Diversity and Believes being a three. JT is at JT_the Ginger. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Let us know what you think of our topics in the comments below. Guys, it's baseball season. It's spring training, last couple weeks are coming up, and that means we need to talk about some Seattle Mariners baseball. Yes, this is our baseball preview episode, so let's get right into it. So the Mariners have been in all their spring training games so far. I'd go down a quick list here. They're 5-3. They've had one tie, they're two ties, sorry. So spring training, results don't really matter. It's like whose line is it anyway, basically. So, just kind of seeing how players fit into the lineup here. So they've played 10 games so far. So I just want to get some of your guys' impressions. JT, what have you thought of the Seattle Mariners so far this spring training?
I gravitate towards individual outcomes, and Matt Brash spins me right round, baby, right round. To register the fifth highest spin rate ever recorded in spring training is pretty dang impressive for a single pitch. And then to follow up, he had at least one other one in the top 10. So it's filthy. It's nasty, and I'm just glad he took this off season. He probably has a Rapsodo like everyone else, but man, he learned how to use it, and I'm excited for him to be our fifth starter for the Seattle Mariners. That's the first thing that pops in my head.
Is that a hot take right there? Matt Brash being the fifth starter, is that a hot take, or is that just a normal take?
That's probably widely considered at this point.
Okay. Sean, what have you thought of the Mariners so far?
I mean, again, look at players. No one's been really crazy hurt other than somebody else, but we'll talk about that in a second. Julio's looked really good. Like JT said, Matt Brash, George Kirby had one rough outing, but looked amazing in the second outing. The guys are just looking healthy and not overstressed. That's all kind of looking for. I don't want to take too much away from it because we kind of got a good idea, unlike years past, of like what the roster is actually going to look like. We don't have any like old guys coming in, sliding in. So I'm just looking for health at this point, and the production will hopefully come when the season starts. So in regards of that, it's almost perfect.
Kevin, what are your thoughts?
Other than the players they've already mentioned, the first one we got to talk about is Robbie Ray and those tight pants. And they look tight and good in a Mariners uniform. Another pretty solid outing today. I like what I've seen so far. Mainly the one other than what they've mentioned that I've also noticed that's done very well is actually Abraham Toro. He's been very solid spring training, just fielding and batting, which is good to see. Like he should be what Dylan Moore should have been, and he probably will be. He's going to be your really good utility player that you can kind of cycle anywhere in the infield if you need him. So that's a good thing to see.
Yeah, like you guys, Julio has definitely caught my eye. He's playing pretty well. And Eugenio Suarez, good vibes only here for sure, because that man looks like that is going to be a good player for this team this year, because he's been playing pretty well. So I'm hoping that all these moves pan out and come together to put this team where it wants to be this season. So let's talk about the players that they didn't acquire, though, because last time we were on this podcast, we were awaiting the Kris Bryant sweepstakes, the Trevor Story sweepstakes, and both of those sweepstakes went to Colorado and Boston respectively. Unfortunately, Kris Bryant signed a deal with Colorado and Trevor Story signed a deal with Boston. So on my sheet here, I have no Bryant, no Story, no Happy. Is that how you guys feel? Or are you kind of like at this point, Kevin, what is it? What's the vibe?
To me, it shows that Mariners ownership lied. the most part. Like they're like, oh, we're going to open up the checkbook, and you didn't. You could have offered the same thing. Now, Kris Bryant got a crazy amount of money. Don't get me wrong there. But like the whole what Trevor Story got, we could have easily been in that ballpark. So am I disappointed? Yes, because the more all-stars you add to this team, the higher chances of you doing better in the season. But unfortunately, it seems like the Mariners ownership are very, sketchy when it comes to their pocketbooks. So, yeah.
Yeah, Kevin, I like you. I was, I think most people were eagerly awaiting to see where they would go, and seeing Paul Sewald's Twitter made me think, well, this might be a realistic possibility, but in the end, it wasn't to be. All that being said, though, would this team have been better with them? Of course, but do they necessarily need them? I don't necessarily think so, but would have been nice to have. Sean, what do you think?
I will touch on this. Yes, the Mariners could have offered the deal. It sounds like we also need to account what I talked about too, like last year. I'm disappointed that the Mariners didn't get one of these people. I think they should have, they could have, but it does come down to the player has to sign on the dotted line. And it doesn't sound like Trevor Story was going to want to play for Seattle, regardless of what the Mariners offered him, unless they offered him like Corey Seager money, which is just stupid. So I think reasonably, yes, I would have loved it. But could it feasibly have happened with what we were hearing and what we were like seeing? Probably not. The Mariners don't have the leverage to pay. Like, you have to really, really overpay. Not because I want to say Seattle, but like Freddie Freeman took less money to go to LA. The Braves offered him more, and he is playing in LA now. It happened in other places. The Mariners offered the most for Kendall Graveman. People forget that. And he chose not to play for Seattle. Like, it happens with other teams and other players. Like the players, especially in baseball, with these older guys that have won or want to win, they're going to pick where they want to go. Like Carlos Correa was not going to play for Seattle. Kris Bryant could have, but chose the most money because he already got his ring. So it's just like, we have to also keep in mind that like these guys, Trevor didn't want to be here. He didn't want to play third. He's willing to play shortstop or second base because Xander Bogaerts is going to go bye-bye next year for the Red Sox. The Mariners, my frustrating part about this is I don't think the Mariners front office lied. They clearly tried. They were one of the 2 finalists for Trevor Story at one point, and then they switched, and they're one of the 4 finalists. They tried to do this. They did sign Robbie Ray. It's just that my frustration with the Mariners is them being stuck with JP Crawford at shortstop. If you had told Trevor Story, I'll offer you the same money Boston is, but I will let you play shortstop, I think Trevor Story is wearing Mariner uniform right now because he could then play shortstop. But they want him to play third, and he's willing to play a year of second rather than 5 years of third, is what it came down to, I think. And that was the frustrating part, was the refusal to move JP Crawford off of shortstop is what was frustrating for me. So I'm happy with the moves they made overall. They should have made more. I get why they didn't, because they wouldn't move JP Crawford. I disagree with their assessment of not moving JP Crawford.
JT, what do you think?
Man, I feel like Sean and Kevin both make really good points, and I'm right there with them. In terms of off-season acquisitions, it's Robbie Ray and Sergio Romo. Kevin, did you strike up the old debate, tight pants versus no pants? Was this discussed?
Not yet, but yeah, it's definitely the conversation that needs to be had.
Because it's as old as time. You got old tight pants Robbie Ray versus gonna take off my pants so you can check me for foreign substances Sergio Romo. So we're rolling in that regard. Watch out, Mariners fans. It's not as family friendly as it used to be. We're here for serious business, and involves pants. So take them to the pants store. But I digress. Yes, Kevin.
I was gonna say you could have for a Mariners fan day where everybody wears tight pants and the 7 inning stretch, you're allowed to take it off for relievement. Just be like, oh, relieve the tight pants. Sorry, go ahead.
That's good. No, I am frustrated. But to a certain extent, I do understand you're not just going to completely give a blank check to Trevor Story or Kris Bryant. There is some type of expectation, but I agree with Sean. JP Crawford should not be the one in the way of signing a Trevor Story. This was the year of really good shortstop free agents, and it would have been nice to at least, upgrade it in some regard. I know we made a trade with Cincinnati. That's all fine and well. We got Eugenio, and we'll see about Winker. I think he's better than a platoon player, but there is frustrations where it's like, what kind of organization are we? Because we're starting to become where are we going to completely develop from within, or are we going to come up with a really solid base and then be willing to spend where the gaps are and fulfill a playoff, if not better, type of roster?
All right. Well, let's talk about a couple of those moves that have happened since we were last on. JT mentioned Sergio Romo was signed to a 1-year deal for the Mariners. And the other news that we missed while we were away is that Casey Sadler is having a season-ending surgery. How much does that affect the bullpen in your mind, Sean?
I don't sorry. I don't think it affects it a ton. I mean, yes, it's a hit, but honestly, from what we've talked about before, this is a strength of this team. They're getting Ken Giles. They're at least getting a veteran Romo in here. They're also, me and JT talked about it, Johan Ramirez and Munoz. Those guys are coming in. They have a lot of talent. They have a lot of pitch stuff. So you're getting rid of one guy you had last year and Graveman to start, but you're getting 4 guys that really didn't pitch last year for you and are really big upgrades over the weaker part of your bullpen. The bottom part of your bullpen just got a lot stronger anyway. So Sadler might be a little bit of a blow, but I don't know if you're going to notice it that much, honestly. Like this bullpen got even better than, yes, it would be better with him, but like it got better than it was even last year. So I don't know if you'll miss it that much, honestly.
JT, is this like a net push or what is this for you?
The Sadler news?
The Romo and the Sadler news, yes.
Oh, Romo and Sadler, no, like, yeah, like I'd obviously rather have Sadler, but I thought that's what you weren't asking. I thought you were just talking about bullpen in general. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So to clarify, much rather have Sadler.
Yes.
Romo is just an extra arm that was available, healthy. I see Chaz Rose out there now. That guy has a filthy slider. I mean, he's injured, but we did it for Ken Giles. Like, hey, sign him up, wait out his injury till he comes back healthy. That'd be cool. Little sneaky sign, by the way. Hey, Mariners front office, while you're watching this podcast, go ahead and make an offer to Chaz Rowe. But ultimately, this is a bullpen. It's best the sum of its parts. It's a bullpen closer by committee, heavily right-handed, nothing elite on the left-handed side, more like long relief. And I think that'd be the one weakness if we kind of pointed that out in terms of bullpen, is we don't really have a dominant lefty in the bullpen, but we can be okay with that. But just trying to be a little bit nitpicky. But otherwise, Streckenrider and Sewald are probably going to get the majority of save opportunities, but you still got Castillo coming at you, Giles coming at you. Munoz is finally healthy. See what that young right-hander can do. And yeah, we're not even talking about Johan, even though he's on the 40-man roster. I mean, like, this is going to be an electric bullpen. And being excited to see, 7th, 8th, 9th inning develop throughout the year.
Kevin, what do you think about Sadler and Romo?
I mean, yeah, it sucks that Sadler's, done for the year. Of course, you want. I agree with the other two that rather have Sadler, but you added an addition it's going to be a nice veteran piece to it. And this bullpen is so stacked that you could just, as JT mentioned, you could have anybody close. They even had freaking Swanson close today, even though he gave up 2. But it's just a filthy bullpen that you can just whoever you need, you can come out in there and do it. You have and there's a possibility of adding 2. I don't know if they're going to sign him or not, because I know he was just an invite, but Ronis Elias is a name that a lot of people have forgotten too. That could be a nice lefty arm for you. And he's a guy that can also get you multiple innings, as I've already previously mentioned on this. If you need to kind of save your start, if your starter's having a rough start, he's a guy that can get you like 3 innings to where you don't blow through your whole bullpen. But this, I mean, it's probably, in my opinion, one of the most stacked bullpens in the whole league. So, if not the most.
All right. Well, let's move on to the Mariners lineup. So I asked you guys to put together an opening day lineup, and I'm going to share mine first because I try to take a stab at this and see how I thought it might shake out. So my lineup is JP starting at shortstop, leading off, Ty France at first, batting second. I have Winker at designated hitter, batting third. I have Mitch Haniger playing right field at fourth. Suarez playing third in the fifth spot. Frazier at second in the sixth. I have Julio in center, batting seventh. Kelnick batting eighth and left, and Cal Raleigh batting ninth as catcher, and Robbie Ray getting the start on opening day. Kevin, give me your opening day lineup.
Man, I would probably actually, yeah, they probably will put him there. I would probably try to put Kelnick first. I'd probably be kind of similar close to what you have. I didn't put JP kind of where Kelnick's at. 2, I think you put Ty France. 3, Hanny. Ooh. Depends on if Julio makes this roster. Oh man,
I am having the presumption that he is making roster. That is why I have,
because I don't trust people like Softy. But if he is, then I God, you could even put Julio at 4 or 5. Probably Eugenio, just because being swapped with the other two, just because of his power, even though he has a high strikeout rate. Winker after that. Frazier. God, you can even put Frazier up at the top too. And then I would have probably Crawford than Raleigh at last. So, or you could swap it too if you want to have a speed guy at the last position as well. So,
Sean, what's the opening day roster?
So is this what I think it's going to be or what I want?
Let's go think first, then you can tell us what you really want.
Okay.
What you really, really want.
What I really want. Okay. Adam Frazier's probably going to be lead off, I think, followed by Ty France. Oh, Frazier second, Ty France first. Jesse in left, Mitch in right. Then Suarez at third. Then I have Kelnick in center at 6. I really want to say Kyle Lewis, but it's definitely not going to be Kyle Lewis. Who do I think versus who do I want? Come on, Sean. Maybe Toro at DH. Then I want to say Cal Raleigh. That's a little bit of my heart thinking. Cal Raleigh at catcher, and then JP Crawford at 9. That's who I think it'll be.
Who do you want?
Frazier, France, Jesse, Mitch, Suarez, and Jesse Winker DHing, and Senior Julio Rodriguez after Henio Suarez playing center field, then Jared Kelnick playing left field, and then Cal Raleigh and JP Crawford.
JT, what's your Mariners opening day lineup?
Oh, it's pretty. I mean, how many reiterations? It's going to be pretty close to you guys. I'm giving the leadoff nod to Adam Frazier and playing second base. Ty France, OBP machine for this team, batting second, playing first. Then in my mind, I think the easiest is 3-4-5. I think it's Winker, Haniger, Suarez. Winker's probably most likely in left. Haniger can be right or DH, and then Suarez third baseman. But batting fifth. I think that will be the most consistent 3-4-5 iteration of this lineup. And then from there, it's just kind of gonna be mix and match. I don't know how much we're gonna want to try to steal or small ball in the back half here, but I almost kind of in that sixth hitter who's my most consistent. It's probably JP Crawford, shortstop, batting sixth, and then say if Haniger's in right, then maybe I think I'd like Kelnick there in the 7 hole playing center field, and then still have another bat like a Toro. This is me not thinking Julio is going to be opening day, but Toro there, probably just DHing if I put Haniger in right, and then whichever catcher you want. You want Tom Murphy, Torrens, you want Kyle Raleigh. Give it to Tom Murphy. Always has sweet facial hair, right? So
you gotta give him the big dumper, dude. You gotta play the big dumper.
But who I'm hoping for, obviously Kevin Padlow as our utility bat and cleanup. Just kidding.
Dylan Moore at third.
Yeah, watch out, Donovan Walton. He's on the court, man.
Center field.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about the Mariners' strengths and weaknesses going into this season. So, for me, kind of looking at their roster, I think their biggest strength, you guys might have different opinion, but I think it's starting pitching. Like I look at this rotation and I like Ray to start off. I like Kris Flexen coming off a very nice year. Logan Gilbert hopefully will kind of come into his own. And then you've got consistency with Gonzalez. And then the fifth starter, I assume it's up in the air. You guys say Matt Brash. I don't really think the fifth starter is going to be an issue. It's just a matter of who slots in there. And I like the 5 they have going. Have you guys heard anything about, are they still going to the 6-man rotation, or are they trying to stick with a 5-man rotation this year? That's one thing I haven't really heard about. So if they go with 6, there are guys that can slot in there like Sheffield or something like that. So they have options to go with if they want to go with the 6-man rotation. But I like their starting pitching because you win and lose games by your pitching for the most part. So starting pitching looks great. I think their biggest weakness is probably going to be their offense. Now, obviously there are some bats on this team, but I think if I had to pick a weakness on this team, I would pick the bats specifically because I think their pitching is going to be their strength of this team. So that's why I would say the offense is going to be the weakness. JT, what do you think?
I like the starting pitching much like you. It's almost kind of like a reverse psychology to me. In terms of like the short spring training, you would like think, 6-man rotation. And then you look at, the pieces they have. And I think it sets up better for a 5-man rotation with an extra arm in the bullpen. And then you really just, you really ease into this season. I think you might see a 4-inning start or some type of pitch limit initially. Seeing actually, whispers of that across the board from the rumor mill that is Major League Baseball. But I think I mentioned before, a really strong lefty in the bullpen might be lacking, but otherwise it's a bunch of like generic names. Like Kevin said, this might be one of the best bullpens, but it ain't any names that you've heard of. It's not your brand name cereal. It's your It's your knockoff great value and just as delicious and nutritious. So it might not have as much vitamin A or, but add
Got
some more milk
vitamin
and you
K
got some
in it. Yes.
Oh.
Yes. What's up?
So, but yeah, I'm loving the starting pitching the 5 that I'm seeing, probably filling it out. Yeah, Ray Gilbert, Flexen, Gonzalez, and most likely Brash to me. And I think the strength of this offense is going to be doubles, gaps, somewhat of a small ball. I don't think Eugenio has a 50 home run season in him. I mean, it'd be really impressive. Small note, all major league teams have, it's been confirmed that they will have a humidor in all ballparks. So that even adds more to the marine layer that is the West Coast. But man, I'd love to see just doubles after, doubles for days, getting on base that way. And maybe I think maybe a weakness might be we might not steal quite as much. I mean, I think I only see like Kelnick leading the team in steals with somewhere around like 12 to 14. I mean, I think it won't be as many home runs as we would have liked when, Nelly and Seager and Cano were hitting, but I think it'll be a more interactive, maybe a quicker through the lineup team, and a lot more faces, much like the bullpen. There's no big, huge name. It's just, I mean, Haniger's and Winker now is an all-star, but otherwise it's just gonna be a lot of team, contribution.
Kevin, what do you think of the strengths and weaknesses?
I mean, the obvious strength is the bullpen, as we already mentioned. I'm not going to go too much further into it. It's if honestly, even out of the starters, like if you can get, because there's so much good depth in this, like if you get 4 to 5 innings out of your starter, you're pretty much set. Like, I mean, yes, 6 would be great, 7, the better, but like it's this bullpen is so good that you don't need a consistent 6 out of every starter. Well, I mean, normally your 4th and 5th don't really usually get that far in, but even then, like the more the merrier. But the weaknesses, I would say probably offensively would be consistency, because one, you have a bunch of young talent on this team still, with Kelnick, Cal, even Crawford being still kind of young, and still the consistency in this team is just what needs to be more consistent. Because it just feels like there's times, especially like last year. I know this is a completely different lineup than what last year was, but I just don't want to see like run droughts where like we're going like a week where we're only doing like 2 to 3 runs, and then the next week we're hitting like 9 runs and stuff like that. Adam Frazier's kind of a question mark. Once he got traded, he kind of just fell off hill a little bit. Whether he can get back on, I think he will. But that's still also a question mark to be added to this. But all in all, it's a good offensive core that should mold. You just have some young pieces. You want to see if they are going to continue to rise and be consistent, because that's the main thing in this game, is having a good, consistent bat 9 in and 9 out. So,
Sean?
I will say the strength is just the pitching in general, whether it be bullpen or starters. I like JT's point. I think when it comes to pitchers in 4 innings, I think what it will work out nicely here is Matt Brash will start the season as the 5th. You'll give him some innings. He's not going to go crazy long. Matt Brash, does anyone know off the top of his head his season? I think it's like 60 innings. Sorry, is the most he's thrown. So I don't anticipate him going more than like 110 or something like that. So I would say that they get a good run, maybe with some Matt Brash, or do something like Kirby, get some innings in the AAA, and then you call up Kirby, and then kind of supplement it as like they're both being the 5th starter. You give like Brash beginning of the season, give him some innings, and then give Kirby near the middle in the end, and then you kind of figure out how the 5th one goes as the season goes. You're kind of easing them both into some substantial innings, because you need about 200 innings from that guy. And if you get 100 from Brash, 100 from Kirby, totally fine. I think that's kind of how they look at it. maybe a little less. I mean, depending on how things go, but it is nice to have crazy depth in this organization, which is all throughout the minors and everything like that. I think the weakness is, I don't say, obviously it's hitting more than pitching, but I think it's specifically hitting up the middle, as Kevin said. Adam Frazier, yes, he needs to turn around. JP Crawford really needs to step it up, and your catcher needs to get something. Center field, whoever is playing center field, if it's Jared Kelenic, you need something more from him, but we assume he'll bounce back. Or if it becomes, or when it becomes Julio Rodriguez, that'll be fine. It's more not the complete up the middle, just again, the infield and the catcher you need there, because Ty France, you know what you're going to get. Those corner outfielders, you guys are going to love Jesse Winker, Mitch Haniger, beasts. It's specifically up the middle offense that I think we need to kind of worry about a little bit.
All right. Well, let us know what you think the Mariners opening day lineup is, the Mariners strengths and weaknesses. Go ahead and tweet us. I'm at Baby Matt. Sean's at Sean Escobetti. Kev's at Kev's Believes the first. Ian Believes being a 3. JT is at JT _ the ginger. All right. It is that time where we make some predictions. So let's start with the Mariners record. Do I have any volunteers to go first? Fine, I'll go first. Oh, wait, nope. JT had his hand up. I saw JT had his hand up. JT, go ahead.
That's what my 6-year-old does anymore. He's just like looking at me very all, Dad, can you call on me? I have a question. The Mariners, I even missed what the question was. The Mariners
Record.
They're going 84-78. What's up?
All right. I'll go next. I have 88-74. Kevin, what do you think?
It's tough. This division is kind of a weird question mark. Because the Astros can still be the Astros. It's gonna be a tough division. So
we'll get to the division here in a second.
And we'll get to that. That's why I'm just kind of, I'm gonna say, oh God. Shit, I'll go in between. I'll go 85 wins.
Sean?
Now I can't even price us right this one. So my one right at the start was 86 wins. 86-76. So we're like all in a line right there, pretty much. But yeah, I have 86. So I won't change it now, Kevin, that you did that. But yeah, 86 wins.
Hey, we have them all over 500, which is much different than last year. And now let's move on to the AL West and make some predictions. I will start on this one. So I think the Astros are still the best team. I know they won 95 last year. I think they're maybe a little less than that, probably within the 90-95 range would be my guess. Then I have the Mariners in second, right behind them. As it was last year, they had 90. I have them dropping just a little bit to 88. I think the Angels, the Angels are weird because they have the best player in baseball, but they have Shohei Ohtani, the MVP. But
Just said the same guy twice. Silly goose.
Best player in baseball is not Mike Trout. Did I?
No, Shohei Ohtani.
Oh, he's the best player. Oh, okay.
I'm just go on.
I mean, the rest of the pieces around them matter. I don't if it doesn't come together at some point. I don't know when it ever will. So I think they'll be third, and I don't think they're going to be too far behind the Mariners. I think they'll be in the 80-85 win range. And then after that, I think it does take a significant dive. I think the Rangers will be fourth. I think the A's will be fifth. Now I say that knowing the A's somehow always rise up from the ashes of people's predictions and do really well, but I'm going with the A's in last, Rangers at fourth, Angels third, Mariners second, and the Astros first. Kevin, give me your AL West prediction.
I think it's gonna be a little bit tighter than what a lot of people think. Like I said, I think this year it's gonna be the first year where we're not gonna get absolutely just manhandled by the Astros. I think they're gonna be tough series, to be honest. Because don't get me wrong, the Astros are still a very good team. I had us at 85 wins. I'm gonna put them. I'm gonna put them at 87, just slightly ahead. and then us in second. Also, just because the AL East, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Yeah, we'll get to that. I'd probably put the Angels in third, but I don't think they'll be too far. Just because that Mike Trout and Shohei can do a lot of damage, even though their pitching is like a question mark. I'm gonna say 79 for the Angels, and then it's kind of a drop off. I'll put Rangers in fourth, even though they have upgraded with a lot of money. There's still a lot that team needs. And then I'll put the A's in last. So,
Sean?
I have the Astros as they're clearly a worse team than they were last year, but they're still the best team in the AL West. So I have them at probably about where they were last year, 95 wins. Just because I think the rest of the AL West didn't do itself a lot of favors as much as people think. So I think they'll stay about where they are. The Mariners, I think, are the second best team right now. I know everyone, like a lot of the numbers say the Angels, because they're banking it off of what their players have done in the past. Their players that have done it in the past need to stay healthy. Your best four players are Syndergaard, Ohtani, Trout, and Rendon, all of which get hurt all the time. Do I bank on all four of them being healthy? Absolutely not. They will not all four be healthy. Will even two of them be healthy all season? Or like it's just, I just don't believe the Angels can be healthy enough. Talent-wise, yes, the Angels are probably more talented. They just will not be healthy enough to take advantage of how sick would it be, even as a Mariner fan, to see Rendon, Trout, and Ohtani in a lineup together in a row? That would be terrifying, but I don't think it's going to happen that often, unfortunately. So I just see the Mariners with what I say, 85, 86 wins being second. I do think the Angels will be about 82, 83. So if they are healthy, they with a caveat, if they are healthy, they will leapfrog the Mariners and be second, but I don't. So I have them third. I still have the A's as fourth, just because they still have some pitching. They still have some hitting. They'll hold on to it long enough until they trade it at some point, but that'll be a big enough lead over the Texas Marcus Simeons and
Corey Seagers,
because everything else sucks. So John Gray's your best pitcher. I mean,
Lowe's not bad.
I mean, he's like a Major League Baseball player, but like he's not crap. But like, is he a good player? Probably not.
No, but I mean,
yeah, I get what you're saying. Like but if our bar is like Major League players, then they're in trouble. like they're just not a good team. Other than like those two guys are the really good players, and then even pitchers like John Gray is nice. I would have liked the Mariners to sign John Gray. I would have liked the Mariners to sign John Gray to be their fourth starter or fifth starter. He's the Rangers ace. That's a problem. So I just see them still being last. Maybe the floor of this division is raised until Oakland really trades everybody off, then they'll be complete crap. But as it stands right now, I think the floor of this division is raised. The Rangers are not as bad as they were last year. So they're going to win about 65 games, but they're still the worst team.
JT, what do you think?
I'm gonna go from the bottom up. How about that? Because I'm pretty much right in line with you guys.
That's how you start from the bottom. Now you're here.
Yeah. So I've got the A's in gonna be placing fifth. Chad Pinder's still on the team, and then that's pretty much all you recognize. I mean, a lot of nothing.
Eric Thames.
But they've got two studly starting pitchers, but I imagine they'll be traded. Minaya and Montes, and then I mean Trevino's a nice closer, but I imagine he'll be traded. So I really think the second half they're just gonna be. I hope we just sweep the ever-loving games out of them just in the second half. I think they're gonna be knocking on 100 losses. Let's just put it that way. The Rangers I have probably placed in fourth. Mixed bag of random, like pitchers. I'm okay with John Gray. I mean, I would have been okay with him coming to Seattle, but other than that, it's just kind of, I don't know what you're gonna expect. You got half a bill with a B like up the middle that they spent on Seager and Simeon. Otherwise, it's kind of a mixed bag. So I wrote down 72 wins. Seems appropriate. And then it's just these last three. I agree with that the Angels, man, they look studly, but I don't know. Like technically in like just all outcomes, there is a outcome that has them all healthy. Minus Syndergaard, because I just don't think he'll ever be.
He'll never be.
But I put down 82 wins for the Angels. I think they have the most wide range of outcomes. We'll really see how their season plays out. I had the Mariners at 84 wins, and then I have the Astros at 88. I really don't know. Verlander's coming off Tommy John. McCullers still is not fully healthy. He just got, kind of not shut down, but a little bit of rest for a couple weeks. It's really weird. I mean, they've got a new shortstop now, new outfielder. So it's just kind of like, we'll see. They're still there. Is Bregman going to be healthy? So I think it's a division that's kind of in flux. And I hope the Mariners, like we spoke to earlier, now would have been a great time to spend some money and just try to at least take the division that's weak. It's the weakest it's been in years. So I think that is also part of the frustration, but that's how I see the AL West.
All right, and let's give our AL/NL champs and World Series champion predictions. I'll start this one off as well. In the American League, I really believe in Toronto. I like the signings of Springer, and I also like the acquisition of Matt Chapman. So I think this is the year for Canada's team to get to the World Series, and I think they will meet the New York Mets in the World Series. I just
Whoa, the Mets. Whoa.
I just like their starting pitching. I think that's
They're like $1 billion. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're $1 billion.
I think their starting pitching has the ability to carry them to the World Series, and I have them winning the World Series actually. So I think I'm going to take the New York Mets to win the World Series over the Toronto Blue Jays, and yeah, that's my prediction. JT, what do you think?
I like it. I'm right there with you.
Spicy.
I wrote down all my playoff.
Too?
No, but I'm right there. Like I see where you're going. I didn't know how.
I hope Scherzer stays healthy, otherwise it's not happening. But
yeah,
I think you should be more worried about the other guy staying healthy. He's the one that has some issues.
I didn't know how in depth we were going for the playoffs. I wrote down all my playoff teams.
Oh yeah, if you want to give them, go ahead.
The scored runs in each game. No,
I got box scores written up too.
Yeah.
What did Aaron Judge do in the third game against Toronto?
2 strikeouts, a walk, and a dinger with a man on.
That's basically his stat line.
I like the Blue Jays pick. So if I wasn't going that way, I think I want to go with the White Sox again. Great pitching staff, deep bullpen, good talent offensively. I have the Blue Jays, White Sox. How about that? I'll just say Blue Jays, White Sox for the AL championship. And then, yeah, I got the Dodgers and the Mets right there for the NL. I really could go either way. So I'll say White Sox, Mets, and I'll agree with you on the Mets frontier.
Right.
When the Mets don't have a spot for JD Davis to bat, they're stacked. And I was secretly hoping the Mariners would somehow trade for him, and then we ended up with Suarez. So there's still hope. We never know. But yeah, that's my prediction. And I'll say White Sox win the championship.
You heard it here first. Sean, what do you think?
Man, I'm just gonna be boring, I guess. Those LA Dodgers look real scary. I'm just like, it's kind of an easy layup right there to pick. Don't get too complicated. They could also pitch, I hear, too, a little bit and have like 3 MVPs in the lineup or whatever the thing is. I'm just gonna I will say a team that's actually, oh man. I would say that the Mets don't win their division even, let alone win the World Series. I would bet that the Mets don't win their division. That's going to go to the defending World Series champs. I say the Dodgers go in the National League. And then, man, the American League, it comes down to, I do not like these teams. It is not the Astros anymore. They just have lost too much in the last couple of years. And I don't think Bregman's ever going to be the same again. It is whoever wins the AL East. I mean, honestly, I don't believe in Boston of the 4. Sorry, Baltimore. I didn't include you there. Gosh, you could easily convince me the Yankees, Toronto, or the Rays, because obviously the Rays have the least amount of talent, but they're the best run, and they keep telling us to deal with it every single year. We're like, they're not going to win, and they win the division again, and it's just like, okay. And they're going to get Glass now back this year. Everyone's just ignoring that, and they're just their best player probably, and a whole year of Wander Franco, no big deal, like, it's whatever. We just kind of ignore it, but it's just the Rays. With all of that said, gosh,
I'll help Sean stall even more. I wrote down all 4 AL East prevalent teams making the playoffs out of the 6, because there's 6 per division, by the way.
No, I go, God, the worst World Series ever, Yankees and Dodgers. Yeah.
Who wins?
How do you boot Sean off the chat?
The Dodgers.
Hold on.
It's just so much talent, man. Like, I mean, you could convince me any of the other 2 AL East teams. Obviously, I just didn't pick the Blue Jays because Matthew already did. Like, honestly, that's probably what it came down to. But like, Yankees, just to be different, which is weird. It's the different pick.
Oh man, you guys are on crazy pills. I mean, we all know the World Series is going to be the Tigers and the Reds. Like, what are you guys smoking?
Kevin, if you want to go crazy, you got to pick Baltimore. Baltimore is the
but yeah, I know.
Teams.
I don't know.
Or
Baltimore's
Texas.
got some surprising pieces that could turn some heads this year.
Kevin, they're going to be dog doo-doo.
I know. Pitching, yes, they do have some young hitters that are, but
they have one guy's name who's pretty good, I hear.
But gosh, man, it's tough just because honestly, I'm not even, I wanted to count the Red Sox out last year, and then they're just like, we're here, and they added Trevor Story to that lineup too, so it's like,
yeah, but they're not going to get anybody out.
Yeah,
is the problem again. But I agree. They do have a ton.
My heart, I do like the Blue Jays starting pitching too, adding Barrios and Gausman. I mean, if Yusei is anything what he was in his first half, being their 5th, that's kind of scary.
They did lose an MVP.
Yeah. Oh boy.
I will say this. I want to say this about the Rays pick. The Rays did lose the Cy Young winner and the guy who got 3rd in the MVP voting last year. That is kind of, everyone's ignoring that. Like, I know people are like, they replaced him. I'm like, you did lose the Cy Young winner. Like, another Cy Younger ain't coming back, guys. Like, you will get worse than the starting pitching. Like,
I say it's a 3-way fight between the Rays, Blue Jays, and the White Sox.
That's pretty good.
And then I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say returning champions coming back for the NL. I'm gonna say the Braves are gonna come back for it. Yeah, you got Younger with taking out Freeman and going Younger with it, and then if they can stay healthy, it's a scary lineup. Plus, you have solid pitching. Just because the Mets just always blow. I mean, yes, they have been in the World Series within the last 10 years, but like and they spent a shit ton of money.
None of the current Mets are on that team, that's for sure.
Oh, God. If I had to choose other than that, I would probably say the Mets. Even though the Dodgers do look sad, the Mets just have so much shit on that team. So I'm gonna say the Braves, and if they get hurt, then the Mets.
Kind of surprised everyone with the Mets. We didn't say Brewers, who just
I sneakily like the Phillies. I don't know if that's
the
a
Phillies
hot-
play literally no defense. They don't have.
I look at their batting line. I'm not their pitching really, but their bats.
So
look good to me.
you're like, hey, they can hit some balls, but they can't catch them and they can't throw them.
That's
a big problem.
If you score 15, the other team has to score 16.
They will
so
not
let's
score
say-
15 is the problem.
I'm just who's to say, Sean? Who's to say?
They can't catch a baseball, Matthew. It is going to be a massive problem.
All right, I'm just saying. I sneakily like the Phillies. Like the Phillies.
You nailed it. They can hit, but again, they can't literally do anything else.
It's kind of like It's Always Sunny cast.
Yeah.
Just drafted that team.
Yeah, no, seriously,
big dingers.
Analytics teams. I was listening to an analytics podcast, and what's that like the old Russell? I don't know the and they're like, that's how every ball hit is just going to be like that. They're like, we have terrible defense. Let's sign Nick Castellanos and Kyle Schwarber to play outfield. That's going to go fantastic. Who's our center fielder?
Harper? Does he move
Currently,
over
it
to
is
center?
Matt Verling. Good luck, guys. Like,
I feel like the
gonna
NL
be-
Central is. I mean, it's the Brewers and probably nobody else unless the Cardinals make a run again.
I will say, Matthew, like JT, we love the Brewers. I'm surprised you guys both picked White Sox, who were a sub 500 team against, teams above 500 last year. Like they
can get better.
They
I
can't.
mean, their performance this year is going to be based off their performance this year.
Yeah, it is, but they just
Yeah.
they haven't shown they could beat good teams. I mean, are they just a product of a crappy division?
Well, they're still young, and they're in a crappy division.
They're not that young anymore.
And since JT picked his AL and NL championships, I think Yankees are going to face the Blue Jays, and then I would go Dodgers as well. They're just so stacked.
I'm
Like,
surprised no one said even threw up Padres or Giants.
I thought about the Padres, and I was high on them last year, and there was just they were banged up, and they just couldn't seem to pull together in the end.
Kenton Gork.
If they could keep it, I feel like we always.
If they
The
could just
caveat is
stay
always
on-
injuries. The
if they could
caveat's always
just
injuries.
Stay on that motorcycle. Ah.
Yeah.
Wait, no.
Yeah.
All
Which
right.
time? Which one are
Apparently,
we
yeah.
talking about?
Apparently, he could stand that motorcycle a couple times and continued to do it.
Breaking news.
Wow.
All right. Real quick. Shohei Ohtani is the reigning AL MVP. Does he repeat?
No.
Who is the MVP if he does not repeat?
Vlad.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, probably a solid choice.
Yeah, it's probably a safe bet. It's kind of a chalky pick, like my picks. It's boring. I'm so sorry.
Vlad, maybe Trout comes back to take the throne.
If Trout's healthy, yeah, Trout's.
Yeah, if Trout stays healthy, Trout has a good shot. But
Kevin, yeah, that's like
that's
understatement of
the
the
burning
year.
question.
That's the
Can he stay
understatement of the year,
healthy?
though. Like, is the best player maybe of all time if he's healthy? Will he
Yeah.
be good? like probably.
And Robbie Ray, reigning Cy Young winner, does he keep the title this year?
No.
No.
Doubtful.
Who takes it?
For the AL Cy?
Yeah.
Oh.
I got a
It's
sneaky
magic.
pick, but I'll let you guys go first. I have a sneaky pick.
I'm just
AL.
going through pictures in my head.
I know,
Pictures in my head. You got Garrett Cole. You got
I feel like
Ray.
Syndergaard.
Glassnow's coming back, as
Oh,
Sean already
JT
mentioned.
already told you he won't be healthy, so ignore it.
Uh,
JT has spoken. No, JT spoke. Matthew.
But
He
look at his
already told
hair.
you.
It's so
Giolito.
nice. That'll keep him healthy this year.
He already told you no. JT told you no.
As long as no one touches his hair during the season, he has all his power.
Okay, I'll give you one here. I'll give you mine. Mr. Shane Bieber.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
yeah, I forgot about Mr. Beaver.
Because he got hurt last year and everyone forgot about it. But
Yeah.
that dude could still throw a baseball pretty good.
Yeah.
here.
So you're a believer.
I am a believer.
Wow.
And I drafted him in my fantasy league. So that's why I like him enough to draft him. So.
All right. Well, speaking of fantasy league, we got about 5 minutes left here in the show. Who is the Mariner you want for this season on your fantasy team, and who is your dynasty Mariner? JT?
The Mariner I want on my team.
Have you guys already had your draft? Is that
Okay,
already
well,
happened?
hold on. We're
One of
gonna
them.
do Dynasty Mariner, but exclude Julio Rodriguez because that's the clear answer. You
Yeah,
cannot pick
it's-
Julio.
Okay, so Dynasty Mariner, not Julio. I will take Kirby. This year redraft only.
You can pick Julio for this one if you want. Yeah.
I'm kind of in between. I don't know. Can I say all three? You're probably gonna pick the other one. So I got it. Nope, just pick one, JT. Pick one. Mr. Haniger.
Okay. Okay. Have you guys done your fantasy draft yet? Has that already happened?
We've done one.
Oh,
Me and
okay.
JT have two more to do.
Oh, wow. But you three, the league that you're all in, has drafted.
No, that the
Yep,
main
it already
one-
drafted.
two.
Kevin missed it again. He slept through it. Just kidding.
Well, our fun one has drafted. Our main one is drafts this weekend.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I am keeping two Mariners though in that league though. I'm keeping
So Sean, who's your guy for this year and your dynasty guy?
Okay, my dynasty guy is a guy I'm keeping this year, and is Mr. Logan Gilbert. With a super late round pick, which I'm super excited. My guy for this year is going to be the senior Jesse Winker. I just think that he's going to be able to hit a lot. This division is super right-handed heavy, so he's gonna eat.
Kevin?
If I had to pick a dynasty guy, I would actually agree with Sean. I probably would go with Logan. The person to draft, in my opinion, is actually going to be Haniger, just because this team with this roster being more loaded. I think you're going to have more people on base when he does hit bombs. I think he's going to have more RBIs this year.
Are you doubting Mr. Ty France?
Oh no, Ty France is going to have shit too. Don't get me
Ty
wrong.
France is going to be on.
I drafted Ty France in a freaking fun league.
Ty France is going to be on when Jesse Winker hits his home run.
But I mean, as a whole,
I
in
know.
this whole rotation, this whole starting lineup is going. I think we're going to be on base a little bit more.
Mitch Haniger
So,
is a good pick.
I think his RBI count is going to go up a little bit. Home run count, I think is going to be a little less, but I still think he's over 30. So I would say Haniger.
All right. Well,
Give yours, Matthew.
what's that?
Where's yours?
Well, first of all, I don't do fantasy baseball. I would like to try it, but I have not received any invites. I'm a free agent at this point.
Pick one.
So I guess for this year, it's any position. Can I go Robbie Ray?
Yeah.
Okay. Robbie Ray for this year.
Yeah.
And then my dynasty pick, I like Jared Kelnick.
That's my
Jared
other
Kelnick
keeper.
would be my dynasty player.
You guys are gonna be rooting for my team to do really well in this league.
Well, Sean's going to draft 8 Mariners per usual.
I get to keep Jared.
Is Sean the
Kelnick-
Mariners bias guy in
No.
the draft?
No, I didn't even draft Jared Kelnick. I only drafted Logan Gilbert, but a guy in our league who's a Cardinal fan was like, he took over a team. He's like, oh, the guy in front of me drafted Jared Kelnick the last pick. I was like, oh, I can keep him for like basically the last pick of my draft. Might as well. So I just took him I traded for him last year for a guy he liked. So I was like, sneaky value.
All right.
I also didn't have a better keeper to pick to keep than Jared Kelnick.
So we got a couple more minutes here. So one, Ichiro is throwing out the first pitch. Is it a strike?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a laser at like 92.
Yeah.
Clocks it in 92. That would be impressive.
Takes the head off Paul Sewald.
Well, yeah, if you remember, he always wanted to like pitch relief in like throwaway games and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And opening day, for those who may not remember, is Friday, April 15th against Houston. The next day, I will be in town, but I will be at Climate Pledge Arena watching the Kraken take on the New Jersey Devils. But I want to ask you guys, as a final question before we go out, I'm looking at the Mariners schedule here. Which team do you want to see the most at T-Mobile Park? I'm looking at some prime games. There's a lot of games against the Astros in the first half of the season. What really stands out to me is early July, that 4-game series against Toronto, Thursday through Sunday, July 7th through 10th. I might have to get some tickets for that one. That sounds pretty sweet. Then if I have to pick an NL team, there is a brief sighting of the San Diego Padres in town in the second half of the season for a 2-game series, but it's a Tuesday and a Wednesday. So very unlikely I'm gonna be able to make it out to those games, but hoping this year I can get out to more than one game. I made it out to a Toronto game last August. Mariners won that game. Hoping to get out to about 2 or 3 this season. JT, you planning to get out any games, and who do you want to see?
Yeah, I'll probably sneak a couple games after I'm done coaching t-ball and soccer this spring, but I always gravitate to what are the giveaways? Like, what are the big
Okay.
nights? What can I get some sweet swag, So I'm probably just going to be lean towards that and then try to catch a good matchup in between. But nothing in the first couple months has really caught my eye, and that's all I've kind of looked through is April and May so far. But yeah, I was up for some sweet giveaway nights. Those are always fun.
Kevin, who's on your radar? How many games you hoping to get to this year?
I'm probably gonna try to at least go to 1 or 2, especially if my schedule keeps going the way it's going. I've actually, within the first 2 months, what I think is going to be an important series, just because it's a testing mark. Because even though like we do play the Astros and they're a good team, like I want to see the Tampa Bay series because we have one in April and we also have another in May. I think that's going to be a big, that in Houston early on. You're gonna know what this team is, like if they're coming to play or not, pretty much. So I think those are going to be big important series to watch as to whether this team's going to get to a good start to hopefully maintain on into the future, or what, hopefully not doom and gloom type of deal.
See, the Phillies are in town, but it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's not
all those home runs.
But the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, can you pick better days? Like, seriously.
It's gonna be entertaining out there.
Yeah. Sean, what about you? What's on the schedule that you want to go see, and how many games you hope to get to this year?
It kind of depends on a lot of factors, but I think the games I want to see is just the first. Hold on, I better find the exact date because it will. Oh man, we're not lucky here.
Sean, bring Nolan and get some autographs.
But the problem is, the first time I play the Angels is June 16th, and like half of them are going to be hurt at that point. Like, I really want to see the Angels because it's like you get to see Ohtani and Trout. Like, that's gonna be super fun.
And Thor in real life.
Well, no, he won't play again, like you said. But
he won't be playing, so that's more time signing autographs out of the.
Yeah, bullpen. He'll be on the bench, but like Rendon might still be playing at that point. Who knows? And so it'd be. But like in all seriousness, watching at least those 3 hit, because again, JT's probably right. I don't trust Thor being healthy at all. But those 3 playing is going to be super fun to watch. And then the National League team that I want to see is, I gotta find the day. Where'd it go? I know they play. They play the Mets.
I think it's on the road.
Is it?
Yeah, I see it May 13th, 14th, 15th in New York.
I just saw it. Yeah,
I would have liked to go to that one, but
I found the sweet giveaway, the list of dates.
Oh, let's hear it.
Which one's the handful of ants? Or yeah.
That's the joke one, but
sorry. That's the one I really want to go to.
Yeah, it's just here's a handful of ants. April 16th, Saturday, Houston. First 2,000 or 20,000 fans get the Griffey Jr. 42 jersey bobblehead. So that's kind of fun.
That'd be cool.
Get a Dan Wilson pop collectible on Saturday, September 10th.
Is that a Funko?
Yeah, Funko.
Okay.
Funko
You
Pop.
get a Edgar Martinez replica statue night. What?
Where?
Ooh.
I'm not there yet.
It's April 23rd, Saturday, Kansas City.
Nice. My favorite so far, Mariners puffy vest night.
Puppy Fest.
Friday, April 22nd, 10,000 fans. It's even got pockets. It's gray.
Dude, here's a
If
good
that
weekend for you
helps.
right here, Matthew. Here's a little you could do
Oh, don't forget Ichiro Hall of Fame weekend in August.
you could do
Yeah.
May 8th
That'd be
against the
cool.
Rays, get a Little League Day, Mariners backpack, and then just go the next day for the Monday for the Phillies for some bark at the park action.
I mean, that sounds like a Garrett and Grant thing for JT right there. Little League Day, like, is that not the
And
day
then
where
you
they get
can-
to run the bases,
And
right?
then you could bring the dogs and well, it's a backpack. It's a backpack. There you go. And then you could bring the dogs.
Yeah, there's a sweet Haniger hat for
I saw
for the
that.
kids in April. And a
What
sweet
makes
whoa, yeah, the backpack. That's awesome.
what makes the fireworks Star Wars? There, Mariners.
They play the theme song while the
Mhm.
fireworks
So
are
the
going.
fireworks aren't Star Wars. The music is Star Wars.
No, we talked
It's
about this.
lightsabers being launched into the
Yeah,
I
what
was
if they
like-
like form a lightsaber in the sky? That'd be pretty cool.
Remember I
like
went
the
last year to the 90s fireworks
Yeah.
night, and it was the Kelnick walk off.
Yeah. The walk
And
off.
yeah, the
It's a
walk
walk-off.
bases loaded walk off. And I was like, oh, it's 90s, cool. And then they played Backstreet Boys, but they never played NSYNC.
Your band.
And I
I'm
thought
sorry.
So now
were
we know
gonna
what
end
they
it.
like more. Clearly.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's really awkward.
Rude.
Yeah, I was like, hey, just give me a microphone. I'll warm up real quick and hit the high notes for you.
All right. Well, let us know what you think of the Mariners record, where they're going to finish in the AL West, your World Series predictions. Go ahead and tweet us. I am at _Matt. Sean is at Sean _Betty. Kevin is at Kevin Believe, the first name believes me in a 3. JT is at JT_the Ginger. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you think. Follow our page on the Eli Network. Let us know what you think of all the topics we talked about. We'll come back next time. I'm sure we're going to have some Seattle Seahawks to talk about. We have some moves that the Kraken have made that we haven't had a chance to talk about yet. The Sounders have been off for a while because they haven't been able to reach contract terms with Kevin yet. So they're hoping to reach those terms by their next game in April. So we'll have a lot to talk about next time, and we will see you then on Washington East to West Sports. Bring back the Sonics.